Hey everyone, this is Mushfiq Sarkar from the website flip.com. Today I'm going to cover a very popular topic of age domains. I'll cover how I built six-figure niche sites with age domains, what are the benefits, some analogies, issues, what I look for in a quality domain, where to buy, due diligence, and case studies of successful sites. So let's get started in this ultimate guide. So I have a detailed article on the website flip.com/guide/age domains, and it'll be linked below. This article has been updated over the years, and it covers everything you really need to know. But this is the video, so let's get into it. Age domains, I see them as abandoned real estate, right? So um, just like you can find in real estate, find a abandoned house or a low quality house in a very nice neighborhood, you can essentially buy that, fix it up, and essentially get a good value out of it. I see age domains similar to that, where these are neglected domains that have maybe been around for 10 plus years. Somebody built a brand on it, but then shut it down. You can essentially acquire that domain and all of its quality backlinks and history and recreate another business on top of that. So, age domains are, in my opinion, closest to abandoned real estate. Now, there's a lot of benefits. The main benefits that I always envision with age domains is you can avoid the Google sandbox in a way, right? Because of the history, because of the backlink profile, by recreating a site on it that very well matches the topic of the old, how the domain was used in the past, you can avoid the Google sandbox. I have seen age domains recreated, and within 1 month, significant traffic flows from Google. Again, you can start ranking immediately, which is essentially avoiding the Google sandbox. You also get high authority links that are impossible in a way to replicate. I have domains that have links from New York Times, CNN, Forbes, and various niche relevant sites, and to replicate those backlinks, one, it's probably impossible, and two, if you were to do it, it could cost you tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And then also, there's a lot of history. That history is very valuable. If a domain's been around 15 years with a certain topic, it can be a very powerful signal to Google. But there are also issues, right? When you're buying an age domain, you don't know if the site was hit by a Google update or penalty in the past. You just don't have that data. You can only use historical information through AHREFS or just going through archives of what the site looked like to make an educated guess, but you don't really know if Google will has updated, giving you a Google update or a penalty. If you don't know how to do due diligence properly, you may not catch low quality links. Maybe the previous owner used PBNs, or maybe they built weird backlinks. Maybe they have spammy content. So these are due diligence factors that you really need to look into. And obviously, number four, age domains fail. Even if you find the best age domain for your certain topic, you recreate the site, there's no guaranteed success. My success rate is 50-50. So for 10 domains I build, five will do well, five wouldn't, even though I follow the same processes. It's usually a hit or a miss in a way, but the hits are very, very good, right? So you must understand how to analyze the SEO aspects of the domain to catch these red flags. Now, what do I look for? In a quality age domain, I'm looking for a brandable name. Now, this is important. If I'm going to invest sometimes 4 figures, 5 figures on a domain, if it's not a branded domain, it's less valuable to me because I can, in a way, if it's you're paying so much money, you should get both sides. You should get quality backlinks, but you should also get a brandable name that has value that you can build a real content site on. You must also verify if the previous content has a good topical match to the content and type of website you're going to build today. For example, if you found a dog site on a specific breed, right? And the history of that is 10 years, and the original owners always covered that topic, didn't, go into a different topic. That's a good sign. You can recreate a site in that same dog breed niche. But if a few years they talked about this dog breed, and then all of a sudden they started talking about a different dog breed overall on the site, that's a problem, right? That can be a red flag. I also look for high authority links and topically relevant links. Right? High authority links are, for example, New York Times, CNN, Forbes, but topically relevant links are also niche relevant links. Like if you were using the example of a dog breed site, I would love to see links from niche dog sites, right? Pet sites, etc. Now, some bonuses. These are not critical. I have had a lot of success when these two bonuses, 4 and 5, don't hit. Um, if there's a history of organic traffic, if the site used to get 10, 20, 50,000 page views a month and the sellers, the original owners just let it die, essentially, that's a good sign that there is a potential if you recreate the site to come back to that level. And then the bonus number 5, and this is, I would say, more of a it's a very good thing if you see this, where if you type in the site colon URL of the domain into Google, so essentially to check how many index pages there are, and you find some, that means that there is not a manual spam penalty from Google on this domain. That means Google is still indexing this domain. It might not get traffic, but it's still being indexed, which is a very, very strong signal for a quality age domain. So now that we've covered benefits, issues, what to look for, where do you find age domains? So there's various places. There's marketplaces that have spun up. For example, Otis, SERP domains, SERP names. These are vetted marketplaces where you can buy domains. Obviously, they're buying them from third parties, auction places like GoDaddy auctions, and then vetting them and then marking them up and reselling them, right? Or you can go direct to the source. You can go to the auctions, which is GoDaddy auctions, and various other auction platforms where you can participate in the bidding to win the domains. So these are the 4 main places I look. Usually in today, I like to use the marketplaces because the auctions do take up a lot of time and you have to do all of the vetting. So I'm willing to pay a premium. Somebody else has looked through the domain, has gone through that auction process, has secured the domain, and I could just buy it on the spot. So what about due diligence? Now that you know where to find the domain, what do you look for? What do you research during the due diligence process? The very first thing I do is plug the URL of the domain into a tool called archive.org. Now, archive.org is a free tool you can use, and it's very, very powerful. Once you plug in the domain name, you can check snapshots from multiple dates in history where they have crawled the site to see what the site looked like. You can see changes of ownership. Let's say one, for example, the dog breed, right? One owner talked about XYZ dog breed, and then 2 years later, you see a ABC dog breed. That could be the same owner making the change, but most likely it's a different owner who bought it and just changed the breeds of the topic, essentially the topic. And that's a red flag, but you can essentially verify that. Does previous content match the niche? If there was dogs being talked about, are they starting to talk about cats now? Well, that's a red flag. You can also check spammy content or spammy outgoing links. For example, many domains have English content and all of a sudden Chinese and Russian content, and that's a red flag. Also, they always have good outgoing links, and all of a sudden you see on the homepage or various pages you're looking in the archive have low quality outgoing links to spammy sites. So you can check all of that. Here's an example of this one domain, cyberxgaming.com. You can see on the left, it's talking about casino, cyber games, essentially, on a specific snapshot. And then on the right, you see in one of the specific snapshots, all of a sudden the website turned into a Chinese random content, which is a major red flag, and you can just stop your research right then and there. The next thing I do is AHREFS or SEMrush. I use AHREFS on a daily, but both tools are fine. You can enter the domain into AHREFS. You can check the backlinks, what backlinks are pointing to it. Are there any low quality backlinks? Are there any spammy backlinks? You can also check the outgoing links if there's any spammy outgoing links. You can check the traffic history to see what the trend looked like. You can see if it's still has any rankings for specific organic keywords. Essentially, you can do a full due diligence of the domain from its SEO perspective via AHREFS. Now, those are the two things I use, archive and AHREFS, to essentially understand what the value of the domain is and if it's a potential target for acquisition. Now, once you buy the domain, there's a lot of things you have to avoid. Um, age domain mistakes. Essentially, you don't want to build a niche site on an unrelated domain, unrelated age domain per se. For example, you could have found a very powerful DR50 dog breed content site, and you buy that and think, okay, I'm going to build a very generic pet site. I'm going to cover dogs, I'm going to cover cats, I'm going to cover reptiles, I'm going to cover everything, right? That, in my opinion, and in with testing, is not correct. You should keep the topical relevancy, the topic match, very, very tight. If it's about dogs, keep it about dogs initially, right? You can initially launch with that, with dogs. Over time, maybe a year, 2 years, once you get traffic and you've kind of shown Google that, hey, this is not a spam tactic that you're using to use the backlink profile of this very powerful domain to try to get a lot of random traffic, you can eventually expand if the brand name allows for it, right? But initially, you should focus on the topic, of the past topic. Some mistakes that I see is, people buy age domains because they have good backlinks, obviously, but they redirect those age domains to their existing site homepage, just to boost up the domain rating of their main site. That's a red flag. When you do that, Google knows what you're doing. You're trying to prop up the authority of your main site by linking other age domains to it, and it's a major red flag. Another thing, don't copy any content from the original site on that used to be on that domain. Archive.org is powerful, but it also gives you the content essentially that was on the site. It is not your content. It's copyrighted by the previous owner. The previous owner can come after you because it's not your right to use that content. So definitely don't do that. Rewrite all of the content, redo everything, essentially from scratch. Now, what about some successful case studies, right? Here's a case study where I bought a B2B site from Otis. I purchased it in January 2022 for $4,000. In the first month, I added 30 articles, and now it has about 78, 80 articles. It started earning in just 4 months $1,000 by April 2022. So you can tell that age domains, if done right, they can be very successful. Now, this site on the right hand side, you can see all the way from May to April 2023 what the trajectory of revenue was. It has peaked at 2,700. Some months, average is about $1,500. So definitely a very successful project. I recouped my money within 6 months, I believe, and so this asset is in my portfolio now. So this is a very successful case study here. Another one of a dating site that was built on an age domain. I acquired the site on Flippa actually in April 2022. The previous owner built this site on an age domain, bought from GoDaddy Auctions. I think they bought it in 2019 from GoDaddy Auctions, and rebuilt the site. I bought it from them from Flippa in April 2022. In 8 months, I was able to grow that revenue to $6,000 a month. Now, in 8 months, that's what I did. And then in since owning that site, now it earns about $10,000 a month, and it's all built on an age domain from the get go. But the main thing there was topical relevancy. The original owner did a very, very good job to match the relevancy perfectly, and I continued that legacy, essentially matching the relevancy and not diverting away from that. So, if you're interested in learning more, I have a course on age domains. It's a very rigorous, thorough, 4 hours of videos, 40 lessons, 11 different topics covered. I give real world examples. I do teardowns of existing age domains to give you insights into what's the good things about them, red flags, and a full due diligence process so you can learn from it. I also share a lot of successes and failures that I see out there. And it's definitely, if you were getting into the game of age domains, buying from auctions or marketplaces to build businesses, this is definitely a course. So in this video, I covered everything from what are age domains, what are the benefits of them, the disbenefits, the major red flags and how to catch them through the due diligence process, mistakes to avoid that I see that are common, and the case studies of different age domains that are in my portfolio. So again, if you're looking for more details, this course is for you. Otherwise, thanks for listening.